Hello artists, welcome back to Photoshop. Today we're going to be talking about some fun, interesting image adjustment commands that are similar to a lot of the filter effects that you would find in Instagram or some of your other photo editing apps. So we're just going to learn how to control them manually. So what we're going to do here is we are going to be working with the same image 5 different times. So you're going to be saving this as 5 different file names. You can use any color image you want for this. So if you have one of your own personal images, you can use that. Or if you need to use one of mine, remember you can use the digital image archive. So just as a quick reminder, if you go to File, Open, it is in Courses, Art, Digital Image Archive, and you can pull from any of these. Just remember that it does need to be a full color photo. So we don't want to deal with black and white or something like this where it's kind of what's called a duotone, which you're actually going to learn how to do today. Okay, so go ahead and stop the video and find a good color image that you want to use for this. All right, excellent. So we're going to start with the first time we're going to save this 1 out of 5. And with this, we're going to do 2 effects. I'm going to show you how to make an image black and white, and I'm going to show you a couple different ways to do that. And then we're also going to be creating a spot color effect. All right, so taking a full color image and making it black and white, like I said, there's lots of ways we can do it. I'm going to show you the 2 easiest ways, which are not actually the best way. So you're going to watch this, you can stop the video and try this, or for this part, you can just watch. So all of these are going to be under image adjustments today. The easiest way to make it black and white is to go down to Image Adjustments, Desaturate, and it's going to make it black and white. You'll notice it's really kind of gray and kind of washed out. Another way you can do that is you can go to Image Adjustments and you can go to Hue and Saturation. And similar to the Desaturate, you would just take your saturation all the way down to the left to that Desaturate, to where you remove the color, you're at 100% minus. However, I did want to show you this because this is nice. You can kind of give yourself a soft, so where you let some of the colors, so you can slightly desaturate too. So if you don't want to go 100% black and white, you can do a slightly desaturated image. Okay, so that's 2 ways to do it: either the Image Adjustments Desaturate or Image Adjustments Hue and Saturation and take your saturation down. But I'm going to show you the best way. So we're going to go to Image Adjustments and you're going to go to black and white. So I want you to stop the video and open up this dialog box now. All right, within here, it allows you to control the amount of the colors in your black and white image. So yes, it's going to be black and white, but if I want where my yellows are going to be to show brighter, I can do that. So you're literally creating some contrast. So depending on your photo, you may want to increase some of your colors if you want them to be a little bit lighter or darker. And this is literally just kind of playing around, and you want good contrast is what we're looking for, because sometimes when you take those colors out, what happens is it washes it out and it all is kind of gray because all of your colors are the same value. So this allows you to lighten up some of your colors so you've got good contrast. So stop the video, play around with it now, and when you're happy, go ahead and click OK. All right, so now we have a really good black and white image. It's got nice, strong contrast. The next thing I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do a spot color effect. Something you should know with spot color is that if you have used the crop tool, this does not work. Okay, so if you need to crop an image, you'll crop it, close it, bring it back up, and then do your edits. All right, so spot color effect basically is desaturating an image and then bringing the color back in a specific area. And you do that first by desaturating with one of those 3 methods, either Image Adjustment Desaturate, Image Adjustment Hue and Saturation, take it down, or Image Adjustment black and white. But you start there. And this effect works with any of your adjustment steps. What you're just doing is you're just going back in time, but instead of going back in time across the whole image, you're just doing it in specific areas. And that's with your history brush tool. So we have to find it. Looks like this. It's a brush with a little swish next to it. You want to make it the size that you need. So I'm going to restore the color to my flower up here front. So I'm probably going to want to make that brush a little bit smaller. I'm using the bracket keys. So the left bracket key is going to make it smaller, right bracket key is going to make it bigger, or you can always go up here and change it up here. Okay? And then you simply are going to brush across, and it should probably look really bright. So you would come through and you're brushing across. So what it's doing is it's removing a step. It's going to remove the last step. It's going to go back to the original image. You can zoom in if you need to zoom in, which I do. I'm going to do this kind of fast, guys, okay? But you're gonna stop the video and you're gonna do a really nice job. I'm just gonna make it one big one. I'm gonna cheat here. All right. So come on back. All right, so you might be asking yourself, well, why does Mrs. Shores have this kind of halo effect? So this is kind of a fun way to do this. So what I did is I made sure I had a really soft edge brush so it doesn't stop. The edge of the brush is not crisp. It kind of fans it out, and I just made it really big. I made one really big brush. Instead of clicking and dragging, I just clicked, okay? All right, so now that we have learned how to desaturate my black and white and spot color, let's save this. So we're gonna go to File, Save As, and we're gonna save this in our cloud document, and let's call it with your first name. We're just gonna call it Spot, okay? So your first name and Spot, and we're gonna click Save. All right, let's go ahead and open up our history panel, and we're going to, at the top, click on the thumbnail. We wanna go back to the very, very, very beginning. Actually, you know what? Let's not do that. Leave your presets as, close this file. Okay, let's close this because I don't want to save over any changes. Go ahead and reopen that original file again. So I'm going to have to go back to my computer where it was. It was in my downloads. So we're going to reopen that back to the original again. Okay, so stop the video, open the same exact photo again from where you got it the first time. All right, so now in this one, I'm going to teach you how to do a duotone and also using the vignette effect. So duotone is basically making an image black and white, so let's go ahead and do that. Make it black and white again using one of the three options that I showed you before. Okay, stop the video, do that now. All right, and then duotone simply means to colorize this thing with one color. So instead of tints and shades of black and white, we're going to do tints and shades of a color. So you go to Image Adjustments and you're going to go to Color Balance. You can also go to Hue and Saturation. It works. Either one will work. I'm going to go to Color Balance. Make sure your preview is checked, and then you can drag those sliders and it's going to tint a specific color. So either with Color Balance or you can do Image Adjustment, Hue and Saturation. You're going to change your cast. All right, stop the video. Do that now. All right, so that's a duotone image. A vignette simply means having a softened selected area so that you're highlighting your emphasis. And you can use any of the marquee tools. We're going to go ahead and we're going to grab the ellipse tool. And you want to make sure that for your style it's set to normal, okay, because we don't want to fix size. But the key component of a vignette is a soft blurring so that the edge of your vignette isn't really crisp. You want a nice soft blend. And what number you set your feather to is going to be dependent on how big your photo is. If you have a very large file that has high resolution, you're going to want your resolution fairly big. If it's a really small picture with small resolution of say 72, you might only need a feather of like say 20 to 50. It just depends on the size, and you won't know until you apply the selection, okay? Because this is a fairly decent size image, I'm going to start out at 200. I can always undo it and try it again. So let's go ahead and try at 200, and then you're going to click and drag over what area you want to be your emphasis. All right, and you're going to release. You may or may not notice that your marquee might shrink a little bit smaller because it's going to show you approximately where it's going to focus that at. Okay, so stop the video and get a good selection around some object inside your duotone image. All right, now what we're going to do is I want to darken, and you can do any effect here. You can use any of your image adjustments, or you can even apply a filter, and I'm going to show you both of those. But you're just doing it to make some kind of a change so it's not all the same in the image. So I'm affecting just the area outside. I want to keep my flower here exactly as it is. I'm going to darken and slightly change the color around that flower. So we have to inverse the selection, and I would get this in your notes. So once you have your selection border, you go to Select, Inverse. So if you notice, it now has all the area around my flower selected. So stop the video, inverse your selection now. All right, and now let's just go ahead and we're going to darken this area. So I'm going to go to Image Adjustments, and I'm going to go to my Brightness and Contrast, and I'm just going to take the brightness out. I just want to make that area a little bit darker. And again, This works with any of your adjustments. So I could also go to my color balances, I could go to vibrance, I can go to any of those adjustments and it's going to control it in just that area. Okay, so stop the video and do that now. Now I'm going to show you how you can also apply a filter effect to this area. So we're going to go up to filter, filter gallery, and I'm going to let you pick which filter you use. You can use any filter. You can use a blur filter. I'm going to use an artistic one. I'm always a fan of poster edges. I'm just playing, that's all I'm doing. And click OK. If I deselect now, you should see if you zoom in, those effects that I created to the outside, it doesn't just stop suddenly. It's going to gradually fade those changes in so it's more subtle. All right, stop the video. Again, you will have applied some kind of an image adjustment and a filter to that outside area. All right, let's save this. Let's go to File, Save As. We're going to save it in the cloud, in your lessons folder, and this time we're going to call this Duotone. So your name and then D-U-O-T-O-N-E and click Save. All right, let's close that. We're going to open up the same picture again. So I'm going to go File, Open from my computer. It's in my downloads. All right, we're on the third one. Remember, we're doing 5. So with this one, we are just inverting our colors. This is going to be a 2-second one. So just to show you invert, you can either do it on the whole image, or if you want to, you can apply this as a vignette or however you want to do it. But to invert your colors, it's image adjustments, invert. It's just that simple. So I'm going to undo that so you can see me do it to the whole image. Image adjustments, invert. So either inverting the colors on the whole image or as a vignette. However, I just want to see you invert your colors. And then we're going to go to File, Save As, saving it in the cloud. This time you're going to give it your name and invert and click Save. All right, that's 3 of 5. Let's go ahead and close this. We're closing in on the end here. Let's go ahead and reopen that same file again. All right, with this one, we're going to use a photo filter. So it's meant specifically to soften and use kind of trendy color palettes and casts on your images similar that you would in some of, say, Snapseed or some of those other photo editing apps. So we're going to go to Image Adjustments. Like I said, most everything we're doing today is under Image Adjustments, but instead we're going to go to Photo Filter. And what a photo filter does is it gives a color cast without, so it's not a duotone color cast. It's gonna put a wash of color across your whole image and you can control it. So you're gonna see under filter, you've got a wide list of different filters here. So you've got warming filter, the first one, which is kind of an orangey color, and you can increase the amount. So you can kind of really push those oranges and see it combines with the colors that are there. There's 3 different warming filters that use different colors. There are some cooling filters in there, so you can play around with those. You'll also notice you can actually change your color if you wanted to. If you go back to filters, you also have ones that are fine-tuned for other specific colors, but I want you to go ahead and I want you to select one of the photo filters and click OK. And then we're going to save this. That was it. File, Save As, saving in our cloud. First name again, and this time we're going to call it Photo Filter and click OK. Close this file and open one last time. We are almost done. Open up that same file one last time. Stop the video and do that now. All right, so we're on our last one, which is really similar to Photo Filter, and it's something called Color Lookup. So we're going to go to Image Adjustments, and we're going to go do color lookup. Do not mess around with the abstract or device link because you guys won't have access to other advanced options there anyways. Instead, we're going to start up here in the top section. Make sure your preview option is checked. And you're going to see a long list. And you're just going to play around with these today. What they are is pre-programmed edits. Basically, what the software engineers have done is they've taken like 5 or 6 different image adjustment steps and saved them as a preset. Okay, so if you click through those, you can kind of see what they do. A really common one that you probably have seen on Instagram and other places is the drop blues. What it does is it kind of makes it more sepia toned, it brings it down, it makes it a little bit more nostalgic. But you can really play around depending on your photo. Every photo is a little different. But go ahead and pick one of those colors. You can make it as funky as you want and click OK. And we're going to save one last time. File, save as. Save in the cloud in your lessons folder, and this time we're going to call it color lookup and click save. So now if I look in my lessons folder just as a review, you should have saved the color lookup, the photo filter, invert, duotone, and spot. These 5 is what you should be inviting me to. So if you didn't invite them when you save them, make sure you invite me and hit mark as done in Google Classroom. Excellent.